Before I dive in, I wanted to share something with you. Now, I've been speaking with so many entrepreneurs who are feeling that tinge of excitement or the pull to be called in a new direction to launch something so much bigger. And I think this is because a lot of people are really bored, they're feeling burned out, or this thing that they've built, this business that they built, is no longer fueling their creative fire. And so, guess what? They're feeling uninspired and it's becoming harder and harder to keep growing this thing that they built, and they're feeling the call for something more. If any of that has resonated, I want to share something with you today that I am so proud of. It's so amazing. It is a brand new private audio podcast series called Reinvention Season. This experience is designed to help you pivot powerfully without burning it all down. Join me, Tracy Matthews, for this 3-step process to evolve your business and step into your next chapter with clarity and confidence. So all you have to do to get instant access right now is head on over to tracymatthews.com/reinvention season, or check out the link in the show notes and we'll take you right there. Your next big idea is waiting to emerge from you, and it's time. Now is the time. Let's do this. If you're feeling uninspired or bored or feeling like you're just being called in a new direction and you're wondering, hey, should I follow this calling and reinvent myself, reinvent my career, or launch into a new direction when I feel like maybe I don't have the credibility or maybe I don't have the acumen to do that, or maybe I'm concerned about my existing business, like what are people going to think there? Well, I wanted to demystify some of the myths that go on when you're in a season of reinvention for yourself or your business. Hey there, I'm Tracy Matthews. I am the Chief Visionary Officer of several brands. I'm a creativity expert and coach, also a reinvention guide, I like to call myself. And I help business owners launch, grow, and scale successful 6- and 7-figure brands. And I'm here to talk a little bit more about how I've basically evolved, some of the things that I've seen coming up when it comes to reinventing yourself and your business or your brand, or even your career after you've been doing something for a very long time. And so if you're in a season of reinvention, I just want to let you know that you are in the right place. We're going to chat about all these things. And first, I just want to dive in and share a story. But before I do that, I just want to mention, if you're enjoying this video or anything that I say, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel and you click that little notification bell so that you know when we are launching and releasing new content. So I want to talk a little bit more about reinvention season, the season of reinvention. It feels like there's something in the air. Everyone is feeling this energy to recreate themselves, reinvent themselves, reignite their passion for what they're doing, overcome burnout. Like there's just so many things that are going on. And quite frankly, a lot of people are feeling bored. They're feeling uninspired. They want to be tapped in and turned on and tuned into what they're doing. And maybe they've been doing something for a long time and it just does not feel that exciting to them anymore. Or they have a business that is doing very well and it doesn't really need them anymore. And they want something creative to work on. And they want to launch a new division in their business, or they're in a career reinvention and they're ready to just go big or go home. So I want to talk to all of these things. If any of those land with you, you're in the right place. And I'd love to hear from you. So please reach out to me on Instagram. I am Tracy Matthews on Instagram at I am Tracy Matthews, because I'd love to hear from you and hear a little bit more about what's going on with your reinvention journey. So first, I wanted to share some myths, but before I do, I want to share this story. Now, I was coaching a client a couple years ago, and she was really unhappy in her business, super burned out, super stressed out. She was feeling some of the financial repercussions of that. And what ended up happening is that she was on a meeting with her husband and her accountant, and she was telling them about how she wanted to move in a new direction. And the accountant said to her, well, look, you've got a great business here. Why would you want to shift it? Sure, your profit margins could be stronger, but if we just tighten up some of the systems in your business or get the operation running a little bit better, maybe you'd enjoy the business more because you're getting paid more. And maybe it would actually launch you in a new direction. But she knew in her heart that what she was doing was not inspiring her anymore. And in order for her to feel that energy or creative excitement moving forward to actually get her business moving in the right direction, she needed to feel creatively inspired and had this calling, really wanted to launch something new. And as her coach, I was saying, you have to listen to it, but let's figure out a way that you could kind of descale your company or transition out of it so that you can move forward. Or let's find a way to get this just working without you so that you can have the energy to actually focus on this new business. So, like most business owners, when they're faced with a decision like this and their business is busy and it's consuming, 2 years pass by, person never changed anything. And guess what? They're in a worse spot now. They're even more burned out. They're feeling like resentful towards their business now because they really wanted to move in a new direction. And so I'm sharing that tale with you because it is very important that if something is calling on you, or you're feeling bored or uninspired, or you're feeling like you've lost the energy, the excitement and energy behind your business, or you are really enjoying your business, it's going well, but it doesn't need you anymore, and you need something to keep you engaged, or you're wanting to launch in a new career direction and you're not sure where to start because whatever you've been doing for years is no longer inspiring you, or you've kind of outgrown what you've been doing, any of that lands, you're in the right place, then this is for you. Because at the end of the day, if you're someone who is a growth-oriented human being and a creative human being, it is important for your creative inspiration for you to always be working on something that inspires you. And so I want to remind you of that. And so I want to debunk the myths because I think there's a lot of reasons about why people stay stuck in the same place and they don't move forward. And I'm going to be addressing a lot of this and supporting people in my process through my new program called The Art of Reinvention. I'm going to have a link in the show notes. If you want to check it out, head on over to tracymatthews.com/art of reinvention. And it's a 12-week mastermind where I'm going to be guiding people through my 3-step reinvention process that I've used 5 times to reinvent myself and my businesses, launch new products, like all the things. It's amazing. So myth number 1, you should be happy with what you've already created. Now, this is the tale. This is the myth of the exact story that I just told you of my client who really wanted to move in a new direction. She was told by the people that are closest with her to not do it. And guess what happened? She, 2 years later, in a worse spot, feeling even more burnout, uninspired, and resentful that she didn't move forward. And so what a lot of people, I think the psychology behind this is people just think, well, I need to do the things that keep making me money so that I can keep building and growing. But really, like, at what cost? When does it shift, right? Because even though you've done a lot and you've achieved a lot in your career and you maybe had a successful jewelry company or a successful creative business, whatever that might be, if you aren't content with where you are now, all those achievements, all the money you've made, all the things that you've done are really mute because you're a creative human who needs to feel inspired about what they're doing. You need to be tapped in to your creative life force on a regular basis, because if you're not, you're going to start sacrificing your well-being and you're going to start getting out of alignment with what matters most to you. And as growth-oriented human beings, if you feel that, you probably know that finding alignment is one of the most important things that you can do. Now, the second myth that I would like to debunk is you need to have it all figured out before you start. Well, this is a big myth for a lot of reasons, because here's the deal. You're never going to have it all figured out. And one of the things that keeps people stuck is procrastination or putting it off because you're trying to figure out the right time or make it perfect or all these things, right? But nothing requires a perfect plan. It just requires the intention behind it and a desire to actually move forward towards the thing that you want to do. So even if you don't have 100% certainty about where you're going, just taking that first step and committing to the process can be really important. I think another thing that kind of falls into this category is you might feel like, oh, well, I have this passion in this thing I want to do, but like, I don't know the credentials. Like, I see I've been talking to a couple people and they want to become professional speakers. Like, they literally want to do that full time. And that's something that's been a passion of mine too. I love public speaking. I love speaking to crowds. I like literally turn on when it happens. So if you have a conference or anything and you need someone who can speak about creativity and overcoming burnout and reinvention, I'm your gal, right? The reason why I'm mentioning this is because a lot of people think that they need to be credentialed or have a certain level of experience doing the thing that they want to do before they actually get started, which is sort of a chicken or the egg conversation, right? You don't necessarily need credentials. Your credentials are in the doing and the experience that you've had that you're showing up. So I think sometimes we like to make things complicated for ourselves because it feels like such a big thing that we're moving into, but actually it's really simple. Reinvention is a process, not a destination, and it's just a journey that you're on, right? So move forward confidently towards your dreams. You got this. You don't need to be fully credentialed. You don't have to know exactly what you're doing. You don't have to have the full journey planned out in order to get started. It's just about committing the time to actually doing the work. The third myth that I want to debunk is starting something new or reinventing yourself, or especially when you've been established for a while, is too hard, too complicated, or especially if you're trying to run an existing business and launch something new at the same time, it might feel like a lot. So I think people overestimate how much work is involved in basically your glow up, your reinvention, launching a new thing. I think sometimes people underestimate the amount of work things will take, but also I think people also overestimate it. And this how we end up getting in our head about thinking, is this really the right direction that I want to move into? So reinvention is actually less work, because if you have the grounding and the footing there and you're ready to move forward, then you're in a good spot. And so one thing that I talked to a lot of people who've been kind of descaling their companies, and I'm one of those people who's been like simplifying things on purpose intentionally, because I needed to get things to be simpler to run so that I had the bandwidth to work on some of these new projects that I desire to do. And in that descaling of the company intentionally so that I can build it back up, I found that it's been a lot easier to run, and it's allowing us to be a lot more efficient. And so streamlining and focusing on what really matters actually can simplify what you're doing, and it makes that reinvention process feel a lot less heavy, feel a lot lighter, to be more exciting, and all the things. And so reinvention does not have to be complicated. Reigniting your passion does not have to be complicated. It's just about stepping into it and figuring out like what can be simplified. What can I make simpler, right? Myth number 4, sharing your knowledge will cost you your competitive edge. Now, I love this one because this was the exact reason why I started Flourish and Thrive Academy almost 13 years ago. I wanted to help people expand their competitive edge, because I truly believe that in helping others and supporting others on their journey, especially even people in your same field. I've been mentoring someone who is wanting to launch basically a coaching arm to her business. She has a completely different business model where it's a service provider or whatever, but she wants to launch a coaching arm. It's not services. What is it? Yeah, services in a strange way. Anyway, she wants to be able to mentor other people in her industry to help them overcome the burnout that most of them experience in 3 to 5 years. And, one of the things that kind of came up, like, I've been thinking about this, but is it going to like lose my competitive edge? And I'm like, no, because you're this many steps already ahead of them. Absolutely not. I think a lot of people fear that sharing their expertise will make them vulnerable, or people will see inside their business and it makes them feel uncomfortable, and also might make them feel a little bit like they're not special or that unique anymore, right? Here's the thing. If you share your knowledge, you will not lose your competitive edge. And if that's the thought that's going in your head, that if you share your knowledge, you will lose it, well, you haven't been listening to me very long. Because the more exposure you have, the more people, are going to love you. And I think people have this fear of like, when you're putting yourself out there and you're being vulnerable and all these things, that people are going to tear you down. But really, it's about having the courage and bravery to be a disruptor in your industry. And that disruption is the thing that changes your industry for the good. So sharing your knowledge will amplify your influence. It will position you as a leader in your industry, and also help you show up as the model for what's next. And I know this to be true here at Flourish and Thrive Academy, because for a very long time, we were the only people mentoring jewelry business owners. And, we're an OG. People are like, wow, you've been doing this for 13 years. And they're like, wow. And I was like, yes, I was one of the first people supporting businesses online because I saw this need. And a couple people, someone said to me, Tracy, you are a legend. I was like, I'm a legend? was so hard for me to receive. But I'm a legend, apparently, in some people's eyes, because I was a pioneer in this industry. And it makes perfect sense because my human design is the pioneer. I'm a 6'3" generator, and I'm designed to figure out things based on trial and error and just by doing the work. So it makes perfect sense. Anyway, long story short, stepping up and sharing your knowledge with your industry will not help you lose your competitive edge. It's actually going to position you as a force to be reckoned with and something that people admire, right? They want to be you. Now, myth number 5 is feeling fake or not having the right credentials, like kind of moving forward. I guess the best way to put this is kind of like imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to be able to do this? So here's the thing. Anyone can be anything that they want to be. And imposter syndrome is just your subconscious mind sharing with you or trying to keep you safe, right? And one of the easiest ways to overcome imposter syndrome is just by taking action and following a proven path. And so in my process of reinvention, I actually share this on my secret podcast called Reinvention Season. If you haven't downloaded it, you can grab it over at tracymatthews.com/reinvention season. I'll also have a link in the show notes. But that Reinvention Season podcast, I go a little bit deeper into my process for reinvention. And in my program, The Art of Reinvention, I actually give you the step-by-step systems to go through your reinvention process. And I've done this so many times. I've reinvented myself or my business or my brand over 5 times. And there's probably going to be many more. And the process that I followed is this. I got very clear. I clarified, tapped into my gifts. I got super clear. Okay, what is the thing that I'm amplifying right now? When I launched Flourish and Thrive Academy, like I really love curating groups. And one of the things that I know that I'm really good at is being a teacher. I used to teach yoga, and this was just being able to teach in a different sort of format. And now tapping into my gifts, like I'm still an amazing teacher, but it's really about showing people, helping people see vision. And that's the thing that is like my gift beyond my gifts, like one of my deepest, darkest, not darkest, but my deepest gifts. And so part of this clarification portion of you creating your reinvention process, it's all about really tapping in, like, what is the thing that's so easy for me to do that I don't feel like I should get paid for? And it feels so light and easy, I could do it all day. And then how do I turn that into a vision for my business in a direction that I'm going and create a big enough vision that is inspiring me to like motivate the people around me or the energy around me, the community that I'm building to move along that path with me, right? Having something so inspiring. And then the next step of this is creation. This is all about creating the offers, the brand story, the brand journey, the positioning of who you are that makes you a badass in whatever it is that you're moving forward into. And then the third part of this is all about cultivation. This is you stepping into your next phase and getting visibility and creating a plan around it. And one of the things that I love about my Art of Reinvention program is that it is a 12-week, basically creativity and reinvention mastermind where I'm going to be supporting people along their journey of really tapping into these 3 phases of the reinvention process. Well, there's kind of a 4th phase too, which is letting go of the old version of you, but this reinvention process so that they can evolve into their next big mission, into their next calling, or launch a new arm of their business or whatever it is, and to do it smoothly. So at the end of this, throughout the process, I'm going to be helping you clarify your vision for what's next. I'm going to help you create profitable and scalable offers around that vision so that you're not getting yourself in a bottleneck of like one-on-one work and trading time for dollars, right? And then we're going to create a launch plan for you to move forward so that you have a crystal clear path to carve and step into this new direction with. So it's super concrete. We're going to literally like walk you step by step. And in 12 weeks, something that takes most people 2 to 3 years because they're not doing it, you'll have it all done and ready to go, which is awesome, right? So if you want to learn more about the Art of Reinvention, I would love to chat with you. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at I am Tracy Matthews, or you can definitely reach out to me or check out my Art of Reinvention program over at tracymatthews.com/Art of Reinvention. And depending on when you're seeing this, you're either going to see an application or a landing page with more information. And I'm excited to see you. And if you're watching this or seeing this in the early bird, we have a super sweet discount. Make sure that you check it out and get in now. I feel like this is so timely and so important because there's so many people who are on this precipice of massive change or feeling just like they're ready for their next level. And they've been asking themselves for a while, like, what is next? This is for you. And so I'm so excited for you. And I love to be your guide along the journey. So let's do this, and ciao for now. And thank you so much for listening to this episode today. If you've enjoyed the episode, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and you check out that little subscribe notification bell so that you can get notified of any new episodes. And if something really landed with you, please feel free to comment in the comments below. All right, this is Tracy signing off. Until next time, ciao for now. What if the thing that actually made you successful is the thing that is holding you back? You've built something incredible. You have made an impact. But now, every time you sit down to work on your next big idea, you find yourself falling back into what's comfortable. Not because it's right, but because it's familiar. Does that sound familiar? Well, if that's you, you are not alone. And that's exactly why I created a brand new program called The Art of Reinvention. It's my 12-week program designed to help you gain clarity on your next big move, create an offer or business that excites you again, and brings your audience along for the ride without burning down what you've built. I know because I've been through this process 5 times, and I am literally an expert at guiding you through this. So if any of this lands, I'd love for you to check out The Art of Reinvention. Head on over to tracymatthews.com/art of reinvention and join us for our next cohort, which is starting soon.